Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villian Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla Hour, Broseph Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and MManiacs. The nightly shows are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Game 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports, Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle Podcast, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, Off the Rails, and Detroit Lions News. Hope you like all the shows. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe.
Hey, my name is Ray Flores. I'm a proud and loyal member of the First and 10 Tailgate. You're listening to First and 10 with my man, the main man, Foz.
First and 10 with Foz, Chicago Bears in the mix. Rapping about football, no room for politics. From the Windy City, we bring the fire. This podcast hot, raising the bar higher. Touchdown after touchdown, we never settle for less. Breaking it down with Foz, we always bring our best. First and 10 with Foz, dancing the crowd, cheering loud and proud. Our spirits never bow. We rep that navy, blue and orange, no room for doubt. Chicago Bears legendary, no team can knock us out. No team can knock us out.
When I'm in Chicago, always a Foz.
Display. Hitting hard like a linebacker, making our way. Foz leading the charge, taking us to the top. Chicago Bears legacy, we can never stop.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 52, First and 10 with Foz. Maxwell, how we doing tonight, brother?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Enjoyed the nice little
that bye week.
Nice. Man. It was a nice, beautiful weekend. Yeah. Drunk on the patio. 4-2.
Windows are open. Oktoberfest is flowing, baby.
Absolutely.
Got the hoodie on, baby. This is what I'm talking
Absolutely.
about.
It's looking fresh.
This is the time of year we all wait for, people. Time of year we all wait for. All right, guys. Coming up here pretty soon is the live show, December 8th. It's going to be here before you know it.
Oh, yeah.
Blink. It's going to be Christmas, everyone. Halloween's in like a week or two.
Once you get to Halloween, it's Christmas the next day.
Time flies, man. So live show at my sponsors, Bedrocks. You guys know the video. Come on, people.
Bedrocks Pizza, the place to be. And craft beers for the crowd is roaring, the atmosphere's hot. We'll party hard, give it all we've got. This place is our sanctuary. Shout it aloud, let the music play. Bedrocks Pizza, we're here to stay. Good times and memories never before. Under the neon lights, we're all stars.
All right, guys, you've seen on my page, the Caleb Cares charity aligns with my company, my people, ESF, anti-bullying, suicide awareness, treating everyone equal within the youths. Everyone, it's an awesome charity to donate towards. There's the information at the bottom of the screen. If you need information, you guys can always reach out to me. You know how to do that. Coming up soon for FAT, we're going to have the Veterans Tailgate, which is November 3rd, versus the 49ers at the McKinley Post, Southside Chicago. We got Operation Warrior Wishes, Fantasy Productions, The Crew, First and 10, Low End Barbecue, BM5, all coming together for one event. $20 per person to come. Veterans eat for free, and we encourage everyone to breed a dish, and let's feed our veterans, everybody. Maxwell, did you know I have a doppelganger?
I did as of last week.
You did? check this out, people. It's a Cincinnati Bengals fan. People were reaching out to me like, dude, did you convert to a Bengals fan? I was like, no, I gotta know what the hell my dad was doing in Ohio about
possibly
about 40 years ago. His name's Rusty. He's a Bengals super fan. He's actually an ESF member too. And we reached out to him. I was like, brother, is that you? Dude, way too funny, man. I've been laughing about it all week. Got some pretty crazy news today. Super excited about. My wife a few months ago reached out to Fox News behind my back, and I found out that on November 8th, I am going to be the Bears Fan of the Week on Orange Friday, November 8th on the morning show with Natalie Baums and Anita something. But
I think it's Rinaldi, but yeah.
Yeah, super excited for him, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's awesome, dude. Congrats.
Foz, you're the best. Super excited about that. Let's get into the news, Max. Not too much really going on. You figure with a bye week and the trade deadline going up, nothing really going on. I mean, we got the injury report from the Jaguars game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Brisker's supposed to be coming back from concussion. Stevenson's supposed to be coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know about Gordon. I really haven't said too much about Gordon yet.
It sounded iffy. I heard Matt Eberflus talk today. He said Brisker's got to overcome one or two more things before he gets cleared. It sounded like Stevenson was good, though. It sounded like the long snapper was good, too.
Yeah.
And
he picked up that Pro Bowl long snapper, too.
Yeah, so that sounds like we're good at the long snapper.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounded like
one of our problems.
Gordon didn't practice today, but it didn't sound like he was super concerned. It sounded like there was a chance he was going to play. So
it seems pretty hopeful that the main squad's going to be out there on Sunday.
That's good. It sounds like the offensive line backup guys, Bates and Borum, are getting pretty close to healthy. So good.
Hell yeah, man. No moves made yet for the trade deadline. Were you expecting anything to happen right away, or you think something's going to happen before the end of next week?
I mean, football's gotten a little more active than it used to be. It used to be where it just didn't happen at all.
Yeah.
It's still not like baseball where it's just going to be a flurry of moves. I mean, unless there's really something there where a team gets desperate and wants a second or third round pick, I don't see them giving up a lot of draft capital for anything.
An offensive lineman would be the only thing I'd be open for trading for. A center, another guard, or something like that.
Sure.
Proven Pro Bowl, not too old guy, not giving up too much draft capital or trading the farm away. Other than that, man, I mean, they talk about like all these defensive ends out there. We're supposed to like Myles Garrett. That conversation about Myles Garrett and Max Crosby on the table, which personally, even though I don't think we technically need him, he would be a ton of money. I would love to see Max Crosby.
I mean, it's not our money or draft picks we're giving up, so I don't care. Let's, I'm going to be a Madden fan and just try to get him. But I don't see them mortgaging the farm for anybody. I don't.
Yeah, no,
I mean, what you're going to have to give up to get Garrett or Crosby is going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot.
That's been Pole's stand since day one when we took over, is they're not giving up the team for one player.
No, you can get another Montez Sweat type for the third round. Sure. Why not? But yeah, to give up multiple first round picks for another defensive end, I don't see it happening.
Totally agree with you, my friend. Dreams could come true one
day. Yeah, well, you never know.
Max Crosby does have the big Jordan tattoo. He loves Chicago. So.
Somebody maybe blinks and says, yeah, we'll do a second or third round pick. Okay, sure.
Yeah, for sure. Bears-Jaguar game in London was a shellacking, to say the least. Probably one of the most fun games I've watched in a very long time, and it was 8:30 in the morning on a Sunday.
Oh, it was great. It was great.
Cracked a beer. Oh, it was just amazing, man. I had a good time. First quarter was a little iffy, but then as soon as the second quarter came out, they started rolling and
immediately
didn't stop from there, man.
Yeah, immediately answered the Jaguars' first touchdown, and then it was pretty much pedal to the floor from there, and they did not let them up. That is a bad Jacksonville team, but I don't know what we were worried about. But
yeah, no. Well, you always got to worry.
No, I know, because of the London thing. And then the London thing, I get it. You don't know how your team's going to react. But yeah, I mean, they throttled them pretty thoroughly.
Caleb Williams had another great performance, 23 for 29, 226 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 to Komet, 2 getting Keenan Allen involved finally. Nice to see him being utilized. He's healthy with his foot now, so he's back on the list of dangerous weapons for us going forward.
Absolutely. I was really happy to see him get involved, and that's just another player or weapon you put on tape for another defensive coordinator to have bad dreams about.
Exactly.
The more you can do that, the more he spreads it around, the more dangerous they become. That's exactly what you envisioned when you built this team with 3 wideouts and Swift and Cole Kmet. Is too many weapons for us to handle.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point now that we're starting to roll in. Caleb's getting developed now. Who do you game plan against?
Yeah,
on offense, Komet. I mean,
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore.
I mean, it's your obvious
Keenan
one, but
Allen.
yeah.
I mean, Swift has really came and picked up his game a lot.
Yeah, you can't double team everybody. So, you're going to have a lot of one-on-one matchups. And
dreams coming true, man.
Absolutely.
So dreams coming true.
Yeah.
So Stevenson and Brisker obviously were out during the London game. But, man, Jalen Jones and Elijah Hicks really came in, dude.
They're good.
Especially Elijah Hicks, dude.
Yeah.
He had quite a game under his belt, dude. And really, because they were picking on him the entire time.
Yeah.
You know they're not going to Jalen Johnson.
No, God, no. No, I mean, it just speaks how good their depth is. I mean, Elijah Hicks could probably be starting on a lot of other teams in the NFL, and that you've got him under, I think it's still his rookie deal.
Yeah.
He's damn good. It's damn good. They have the deepest secondary in all of football, I think.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like we talk about all the time, Brisker and Stevenson and Gordon, how they play so hard.
Mhm.
You're bound to see these couple game injuries with
Oh,
the way
definitely.
they tackle and how they put their body and sacrifice their body. So it's nice to see we got these guys to come in, man.
And that they drafted these guys and developed these guys to where you've got so much depth at corner that and safety that you know if you lose a guy for a couple of weeks, it's no big deal.
It's a good problem to have.
Absolutely,
right,
it
buddy?
is.
Bears had 4 sacks on Lawrence, 1 interception. Punter Tory Taylor still nailing 60-yard punts, man.
Mhm.
Just an all-around great game, man. Defense, special teams
Continues
dude,
to look great.
just awesome
Another under
scenario.
21 points or under game. Yeah, I mean Trevor Lawrence is not a bad quarterback, and they made him look pretty bad in that game. I mean, there was not after that first touchdown in the first quarter. I mean, that was it. I mean, that game was over. The Bears completely dominated them on every aspect of the game.
100%, man. And to be honest with you, like so stoked, so pumped.
Mhm.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little less pumped today than I was before the bye week, and
You woke up in last place.
that is because of this, dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude? Is
It's
all I can
wild.
say. Look at this division, man. This is unbelievable.
Mhm.
4-2 Bears. We finally have a decent squad. Get the team together. We're clicking on all points, and
Mhm.
now we have the Armageddon division of all the NFL. like,
Yeah.
3-5 win teams.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's just insanity.
It's.
dude.
I mean, like we all expected Detroit to be good. I mean, that was given.
Sure,
so that
sure,
doesn't
yeah.
make you angry. And like you figured, Green Bay would figure out a way to win 9 games, even if Jordan Love, wasn't what he was
yeah,
expected
Jordan
to be.
Love's not horrible. I mean, let's give it to him.
Oh no,
not
he's good.
horrible.
No, but what's the fly in the ointment is the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, that came out of left field. I still don't know if I buy it. I know they went 5-0 to start, and Sam Darnold has played good. And I watched. I know you did too a lot of the game Sunday because without the Bears, he's having a good season. There's no doubt about
Dude,
it.
he is. Again, like I always poke fun because some of these quarterbacks traditionally through their career have just been jobbers, backup quarterbacks. And you see the Baker Mayfield on Tampa, you see Darnold on the Vikings, and like they found their team, they found their coach. It's clicking.
They definitely found their coach in Minnesota.
Especially Baker Mayfield, man.
Yeah.
In Tampa, I think he's my number one. Like,
Yeah.
he was like, just expected to be a bust bum the rest of his career after Cleveland. So.
Sure, but I mean, in fairness to Baker, we talked about it before. He had an excellent year last year. He earned his
100%,
contract.
yeah.
He was a number 1 overall pick. I mean, he had talent come out of
Yeah.
college. It just goes to speak that growth isn't linear. Like it may not happen until they're 28, 29. I know in NFL they can't wait that long anymore, but it just speaks
You mean
to
he's normal? You can't be normal in the NFL. You got to come
True.
out year one throwing
it's
4,000 yards and 25
But the problem with that
touchdowns.
is, of course, always that pick's tied to the coach, who's tied to the GM, who's got a clock running on him, and if it doesn't look good after 2 years, they're gone. So then another coach comes in, and then after 2 years, they don't believe him. He goes to a new team, and it's wild though. It's wild though that Minnesota could find that, and really, I mean, Kevin O'Connell's a hell of a coach up there, and it just makes me so upset.
Dude, I've always said there's no bad players in the NFL. You are in the NFL because you have standout skill
Sure.
among 99% of your peers. That's why you made it there.
Sure.
But then the second factor in that is finding the right organization, finding the right coach, getting developed, having the right teammates and the weapons around you. I mean, it's a big algorithm that I think a lot of these players unfortunately don't find throughout their entire career sometimes.
Look at Montez Sweat in Washington. I know we're gonna have this guy on here to talk a little bit, Jeff, but look at he said it was terrible for him there. He comes to the Bears. He's been flashy. He's been great.
Yeah.
And it just depends on the guys. Some guys have left the Bears and been great elsewhere. Greg Olson. So
Greg Olson was good.
no, I know he was. That was Mark Martz. But I mean, yeah, it just maybe the message doesn't sink in when you're 24. Think about being 25 and like having to absorb all that information. 22, Caleb Williams. I mean, what were we doing at 22? I know this is what they all. I know this is what their whole career has been built for. But yeah, some guys it sinks in later, and that's just the way some people are.
Yeah. So we're preparing now for the second half of our schedule after the bye. the toughest after the bye schedule in all the NFL, man. We got a
It's
tough
tough.
11
It's
games
tough.
coming up. And to start that toughness, we got the Commanders coming up this Sunday, a flex game from noon to 3:30.
It's great. It's great. Get some more eyeballs on each team.
We'll get into the hopefully Jaden Daniels play scenario a little bit later. Before we get into that game, as we prepare for Sunday, we have a hog farmer in the house tonight. Do you know what a hog farmer is, brother?
I do.
You do? Okay, well, if you don't, you're about to find out. Everyone, welcome to the show. Pork Rind, the hog farmer, Jeff Rinehart Jr. I got to mess up him a little bit before I bring him on.
My name is Jeff.
Jeff, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you coming on, man.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Awesome, brother. How are we doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I mean, Victory Tuesday, 5-2. Doesn't get much better than this, man.
Oh, dude, what a shellacking you guys put on him.
Hey.
Too, man.
You know,
I was hoping Jaden Daniels is going to come back in the game because he's on my fantasy team. I'll just be honest with you.
yeah.
But again, when it was 27-0, Mariota was carrying the ball pretty well. Like, what's the point of risking that at that point, right?
No point at all. Let them sit down and rest. And I did see a picture where he raised both hands after a Mariota Ben Sinnott touchdown. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys ever broke ribs, but I've broken a rib before, and I'm not lifting my hands behind, over my head. So
yeah, I'm sure he just bruised his ribs, got a little pain. I mean, playing that type of ball where he's running, taking the hits he's taking, like we had Justin Fields on our team. Like those are the things that come along with playing that type of football. So
yeah.
Hopefully he recovers because, man, I don't want to play against Mariota on Sunday. I want to play against Daniels. I want to see the matchup, and let's go, brother. I want the best versus the best, man.
So do I. I want to see number 1 versus number 2.
Yes, sir. Before we get to the game, man, we got you, sir, who is quite a fashion season super fan, my friend. You've done so much over the years. A lot of awesome stuff, and we'll get into the hog farmers and stuff like that shortly. But let's talk about you personally, man. How long does your fandom go back with your team?
Oh, man. So I actually became a fan the day I was born, 1980. I don't remember.
We can say Redskins, right?
Yeah.
We can say Redskins.
Absolutely. I'm always going to say Redskins unless I'm doing, an interview with the media, and then I'll be politically correct. But, I've always been a fan of the Washington Redskins. My father was a diehard fan, and that's the reason why I became one. I remember way back, my first game was a Monday night game. My dad actually allowed me to stay up and watched it with him and a bunch of his Navy buddies. And I remember hearing in the background, "Oh no, that's not good." And it was when Lawrence Taylor sacked Joe Theismann and broke his leg.
Oh,
You can still look that up on YouTube, by the way.
Yeah. So, and it's
one of the replays they replay back then.
It's brutal.
Yeah, so that was my first memory as a Washington Redskin fan. So it wasn't a good one, but and then probably one of the highlights was the 1991 Super Bowl. My parents allowed me to have a party, and being a sixth grader at the time, having a bunch of friends over on a Super Bowl Sunday throwing a party, it was kind of like the talk around school, so. That's
some Kool-Aid blast, nerd roll. Shit was getting serious.
Hey, it was a fun game. Beat up on the Bills. So, but yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of the team. My father sadly passed away in '98. Yeah. I mean, and so I didn't actually attend the game until 2001. It was the first game. It was a home opener for us. And it was the first game after 9/11. We played the Kansas City Chiefs and got destroyed by them. They had a great team. They had Priest Holmes, who ran, I think, probably 3 or 4 touchdowns on us. But I went to the game with my stepfather, who pretty much raised me like his own son. So it was a special moment for me because it meant a lot, to have my dad there, and never being able to experience a game with my father. So, and ever since then, I don't know, I kind of felt like going to the games made me feel like my father was still there with me.
Awesome.
So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
That's
that's
what's
kind of
great about being a super fan, man. A lot of people don't get it. Some people do, but that right there is the epitome of it, dude. Just that interpersonal home family feeling when you get when the game's on, whether you're there watching at home, just the familiarity, the emotions it brings, dude. I love it, bro.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So
That 91, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's actually one of my earliest football memories is the Mark Rippon, Art Monk, that 91 team. I was rooting for the Redskins because I bet my grandma $2 that they would win the Super Bowl. So with that said, all-time favorite Washington player.
Somebody asked me that the other day, and it's hard, man, because there's so many players that I followed. Growing up, it was Darryl Greenhand. He was by far my favorite. I had a really cool moment with Darryl Green this past Sunday. They retired his uniform or his jersey number this past Sunday, and during halftime, they brought him on the 50. Did a really nice presentation. He spoke, and then I sat in the corner of the end zone right next to the players' tunnel. So as they were walking him off the 50 and bringing him back towards our end zone, they stood on the corner of the end zone and watched the Jumbotron behind us of like a little montage that they put on for him. And I brought 2 bags of Tootsie Rolls with me. And the story behind the Tootsie Rolls is Darryl Green always stuck Tootsie Rolls in his socks because it made him run fast. So, as a kid, him being my favorite player and, I always wanted to be fast. So I ate a lot of Tootsie Rolls. It didn't give me that.
Well, did you know the reverse effect of that?
Yeah, it did not give me that 4.2 speed that he had. But, it gave me more cavities than anything. But, so I brought 2 bags, and one of I think it was his wife, Jewel, she pointed me out to him, and he kind of looked at me. And I've got a pretty cool video my wife actually took. She was standing 2 rows behind me and took a video of it. And he walked over, took the 2 bags, and then, gave me a fist bump and then went back. And I'm sure he gave those to his grandchildren because they were all there. But pretty cool moment.
Sure, that means a lot too that you even knew that or thought about that to do that, prepare for that. So definitely, I'm sure it means a lot, man.
And before Mike asks this question, just to make yourself feel better about the Tootsie Roll thing, Frank Sinatra used to carry a roll of Tootsie Rolls in his pocket all the time too. So it at least could feel cool about that.
The chairman on the board did it. It's okay. So Jeff, obviously, emotionally with your family, your father, everything, you went to the game post 2001. When did you start saying to yourself, like, okay, I'm gonna get a little bit more serious about this. I want to maybe look into getting season tickets, and then from that point, like, I want to start dressing up, being a super fan. I want to be one of those crazy guys in the crowd.
Yeah, so I started, like I said, I started going to games in 2001. I started really going serious in like multiple games a year. It was probably 2010, 2000. I know I started going to just about every home game 2012, RG3's rookie year. And then we had some years after that, it just wasn't too good. So
you're talking to Bears fans, man.
We know.
Yeah, we all feel the same pain, but hopefully we're all heading in the right direction now.
Yeah.
But I became a season ticket member 2017, I believe it was.
Okay.
But like I said, I mean, I basically had season tickets prior to that. I would bounce around to other sections. And, like I said, 2017, 2018, I found myself in a group chat on Twitter with 3 other guys, one of them being Chris Bryant. And we were just talking about like face of the fans for, the Redskins at the time. And we really didn't have an identity for fans. Back in the day growing up, we had a group called the Hogettes, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but
yeah.
Okay. So group of guys, like they wore the old moo dresses, the hog snouts on their nose, the bonnet hats, the sashes that said Hogettes. And, they got their name from our O-line back in the 80s, 90s were the Hogs. And then our cheerleaders were called the Redskinettes. So they mashed the names together. And but one thing that a lot of people don't know is they did a lot in the community. They actually raised over $130 million for various charitable foundations. Yes. And this was from in the 80s all the way to, they retired in 2000 and at the end of the 2012 season. And this was, they raised that much money, and this was before social media got big and everything else. So yeah, that's my boy Freddie. That's my brother. I love that guy to death. So when we found that out, because we were bouncing, they had the Hogettes, and then we had Chief Z, and Chief Z sadly passed away a few years. I think it was 2017, maybe. I don't quote me on that one, but so we didn't really have an identity for the fans, and we're
time to do a revival of something.
Yeah. I mean, we needed to bring some excitement back to FedEx. So we started bouncing some ideas around, and we found these ridiculous looking bibs on game day bibs, and we're like, well, we want to do something with the Hogs because that had some history, and these kind of look like farmer bibs, so we mashed that name together, and we're like, all right, we're gonna be the Hog Farmers. And then once we learned about, because we didn't really know what the Hogettes were about, the work that they did in the community and everything. So once we found that out, we were like, all right, we got to step our game up because those guys are legends in our books. So we wanted to do something. And then that's when we found this foundation called Abby's Army. A little girl named Abby. Her father, David Johnson, is a diehard Redskin fan. They're out of Raleigh, North Carolina. And she had brain cancer. She's doing great now. But they received so much support during that time that when, she was in the clear, they wanted to give back. So then that's when they came up with Abby's Army. So for the first year, we raised money for Abby's Army. And then we held a draft day party in 2019. And all the money that we would raise would go towards that foundation. And we ended up raising $5,000.
Oh, nice.
It was nice. It was really nice. And then the next morning we had breakfast with David, and David was like, look, you guys have a really good following. We really help out Raleigh, North Carolina area. Why don't you join the fight and take on DMV for us? So that's what we did in 2019. We actually became a 501c3 nonprofit, and year to date, I think we're about $250,000 raised, and we've helped over 250 families. So yeah, that's
so awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You guys
man.
are doing so many good things out there, man. Obviously, I'm an ESF, and we try to do as much as we can. But you guys are obviously out there killing it, dude. And we'd love to see that, dude. We'd love to see it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, man. I really do. And I appreciate you allowing me to talk about the Hog Farmers, because a lot of people just see us and we're like, some ridiculously looking guy.
Well, you really just named the premise of the entire show, man.
Yeah.
When I came up with the premise for the show, the first thing I thought is I'm going to have super fans on here who dress up because people think they're just a bunch of weirdos and wackos out there wearing makeup. But again, once you hear these stories, I've had so many on over the years, like Lucha Blue from Indianapolis with his son, and too many to name, man. Just like the things you guys are doing in the background for the NFL, for the community, for your team, man. I mean, just not a bunch of weirdos with masks running around, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Now your face paint, brother. Absolutely love your face paint, dude. So let's talk about that a little bit. The ideas. Do you do it yourself? Do you have the wife do it?
Nope. So that's all me, man. I will admit, in the very first maybe 2-3 times, I would have her, because I have OCD and I like everything perfect. And
1 millimeter off.
I'm a guy, I don't put makeup on my face, so I wanted a woman's, intuition. And then I saw how she would do it and everything. I'm like, all right, I got this now. I don't need your help anymore. So, but no, I do it all myself. The only one that's really tricky is the American flag that I do for Salute to Serve.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That one's a little tricky, because like I said, I've got OCD. So when it comes to the stripes on the beard, sometimes if I'm if it's a rough morning, I might say, hey, babe, I need your help. But I try not to bother her because she's trying to get her makeup on too.
Guys are just doing your makeup together.
It's pretty bad when I kick my wife out of the bathroom for me to do my own makeup. So
I haven't even straightened my beard yet. I still got to put my makeup.
Got to get in that lighted vanity mirror.
So Jeff, throughout all these years of being a super fan, being at all the games, was there really maybe one or two really moments, memories that stick out at the top of your brain of like number one moments so far that you've experienced?
Oh man. So I would probably have to say my favorite moment. This was the year before I started doing the whole Superfan thing. It was a Sunday night game. It was the Raiders versus the Washington Redskins, 2018. My brother had the same disease my father had, Huntington's. And if you're not familiar with Huntington's, it's basically MS, dementia, and Lou Gehrig's disease all wrapped up in one.
Jeez.
It's hereditary. Luckily I
put like ALS to shame.
Yeah. So I don't have it. Unfortunately, my brother, he was diagnosed with it when he was 27. And he passed away back in 2021. But 2018, he was a diehard Raiders fan. He had a son, diehard Raiders fan. I have a son, diehard Redskin fan. I was like, look, man, this is going to be a father-son trip. And, we're going to have one hell of a time. What I didn't tell him was I had reached out to somebody in, the team office and was like, hey, look, this is a situation. I would love to get my brother on the field and try to meet, one of his favorite players. And like, I sent that email and I was like, I'll probably hear a week, two weeks later. I heard 5 minutes later, a response was like, we got you.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I kept it a secret because I didn't want to tell my brother, and then we get there and things change. So I waited till the day of, my son knew about it. We got to the stadium, went up to the box office, showed the email, got the field passes. We actually videoed it, recorded it. And, my brother was shaking. Like he was wheelchair bound then. And he was excited. And get on the field. We're on the Raiders sideline. And let me tell you, Raiders, obviously, I'm sure you guys know, they travel well.
Yeah.
And they are loud. They're obnoxious a little bit, but they're loud. And,
Raider Nation is they're a nation, my friend.
They are definitely a nation, let me tell you. So we're on the sideline, and I'm surrounded. I'm wearing Redskins stuff. My son's wearing Redskins stuff. And we're surrounded by the silver and black. And everybody was so nice to my brother, man. And Cordell Patterson was one of the first players that came up. He was tossing the ball with my nephew. Went up to my brother, shook his hand, took a photo with him, signed his ball. And then there was a few other players that came up to him, super nice to him. I mean, everybody in the organization, top notch. Like, they were so good to him. And then my brother's favorite player, Derek Carr, came up. And I saw this. And it's funny because my nephew had his jersey on, and he was like, I wonder if he'll sign my jersey. And I was like, well, all I got to do is try. So he comes up, shakes my brother's hand. He gives him the beanie off of his head to my brother. Took pictures with him. And it's so funny because when Derek Carr walks away, I was like, asked my nephew, hey, Alex, did you get him to sign your jersey? He's like, damn it, I forgot. And in the picture that I took, in my nephew's hand is the Sharpie.
He just froze. He just
froze. He was like, oh my God.
What do I do with my hands right now?
He was like, that's Derek Carr. But so, I enjoyed the pregame, and because of that whole experience. And then obviously I'm the only one, my son and I were the only ones that got to enjoy the game because we put it to them. And I was like, after that pregame and everything that happened, I was like, we are going to get destroyed by this team because just how how loud that fan base was, and just they intimidated our fan base.
Yeah.
But man, did we put it to them. So I got to enjoy the pregame and the game. So
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah. So that was that's probably my all-time favorite game. I mean, even after doing the whole, super fan thing, like that's probably my all-time favorite right there.
You got the heartbreaking games, man. I love it.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I mean, I've had some pretty cool experiences. I did a jersey swap with Ryan Kerrigan, who was my favorite player as an adult. I did that during training camp. I mean, I've had some really cool experiences. Chris and I, we talk about all the time. It's like we pinch ourselves very often. Like, nothing can get better than this, and then something always does. It's just, but
how did we even get here? How did this even happen?
Yeah. I mean, but I don't know. I love doing things for other fans more, though. I mean, I've gotten families on the field, for pregame to meet some of their favorite players, and seeing the pictures and being able to do stuff for other fans, that to me is that's what I get out of my experience. So
got a heart of gold, Jeff. Heart of gold, sir.
I'll try, man.
Not to turn it to anything negative here whatsoever, but in Chicago, we know a lot about dysfunctional ownership and management. How happy are you that Snyder finally sold and that you have new ownership there in Washington, or that you have no ownership in Washington?
Oh, let me tell you something. So, yes.
How much time we got left?
Yes. I mean, I can go on for days on this one. But, I mean, I will say this. Mrs. Snyder was an absolute joy to be around. I actually met her quite a few times. There has been times where she's actually pulled me aside to take a photo with me, like when she comes down for like our crucial catch, we all get pinked out and everything. And she's, breast cancer survivor. She's actually one of the people that brought the initiative, because before it became crucial catch, it was always breast cancer awareness game. But she was actually the individual that was solely responsible for bringing that to the NFL. So,
yeah, sorry, I should have prefaced that by saying Daniel Snyder. I didn't mean the whole family.
Yeah, the whole family. But no, very excited about Dan Snyder. I never got to meet the man, so I don't really want to say bad thing. But from everything that I've heard and just the things that you read about him, he said he was a fan of the team, and I honestly think in the beginning, he was a fan of the team and he wanted to do well. But when he realized that, hey, I'm doing all these things and it's not working, so I'm just going to treat this like anything else, a business. And that's where everything really started going downhill. And yeah, when we found out that they were going to be selling the team, we were very excited. And they actually threw a pep rally the very next day and said it was they named it basically it was a pep rally for going into training camp, but it was really a pep rally for him selling the team. So, but yeah,
that was my tie-in.
Yeah, Jerry Reinsdorf might have one of those parades. So, Jeff, what else you got going on this year, man? Any fun plans, stuff going on with charities, anything you want to talk about, anything going on recently?
Yeah, so actually, if there's any Bears fans coming to the game this Sunday, we are actually throwing our putt-putt for pediatric cancer. It's our second annual putt-putt for pediatric cancer this Saturday at the Wharf at DC. 4-man teams, it really doesn't even have to be 4. You could have 2, 3 people. We don't care. It's $100 a team. It's basically like a pub crawl style, but at each venue there's going to be they're going to have their own little putting green that they make them and design themselves. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to try to turn this into like a little rally afterwards. But the more people, the better. And it's a fan-friendly event. So, we'll have.
Yeah, make sure to send me all the information. I'll be sure to post it on all the Bears pages for travel and fans, man. So many of our group, First and 10, obviously, you've been a First and 10.
Yep.
So many of our traveling friends and family that we know love going to the away teams, like stuff going on. So
Yeah, no,
give
absolutely.
me information, man, especially with the charity involved. Definitely love to support it.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, it's gonna be a fun time. So we're trying to get some more teams. The more, like I said, the more the merrier. It doesn't have to be a full, four-man team. It could be 2, 3. It doesn't matter. It's $100 entry. It all goes towards the Hog Farmers Charitable Foundation, where we're supporting families. It'll go towards care packages that we send out monthly. We had to stop we were doing a $1,000 grant each month, but times are tough, and we're not getting the funding like we were. So we had to stop that for the moment, but we're still sending out care packages and everything like that. So
Hey, well, I tell everyone who's on the show, man, especially people who do a lot of charitable stuff, feel free to use my page as a foundation to spread the word and everything. Love to get the word out on all this stuff. So, like I said, feel free to post anytime, brother.
I appreciate that. I really do.
All right, going into this game on Sunday, battle of the draft picks, guys. We talked about it a little bit. Do we want Daniels to play? We want Williams to perform on our end. How you feeling about this game, Pork Rind?
I mean, we're pretty damn good at home. I will say that. We've won 2 more games at home this year than when we won last year. So, no, I mean, I think it's going to be a good game. I really do. Looking at it, we've scored quite a few points this year. We're tied with Baltimore Ravens, first in points in the league. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, though. I think it's going to be maybe a 24-23 game. Hopefully, we're going to be the 24. Y'all will be the 23. But, no, I think it's going to be a good game, man. I really hope Jaden Daniels is going to be 100% because, like you guys said, you always want to play your best. Your best opponent, and
what are you guys hearing about that, Jeff? Because it's kind of been flux here. Is he for sure going to play, or they haven't decided? Probably going to be game time.
As far as outside of,
it's going to be day to day, man.
Yeah.
And it's all smoke and mirrors right now because they don't want to,
Sure, of course,
they're not going to want to tell you guys, give you a one upper on us. But I hope he does play, and I hope he comes out and has success like he's had in the last 7 weeks. I mean, he's played some pretty impressive ball so far. So he's afraid of our defense. I mean, you guys do have a pretty good defense. So yeah, and Montez Sweat's coming back. So I know he's going to be hungry, and that makes me a little nervous. I'm not going to lie, it makes me a little nervous. But yeah, man, I'm just hoping for a good game. I hope that none of the players on either team, hopefully they walk out, on their own 2 feet, and there's no injuries, and both teams continue to have success this year. I mean, you guys have it a lot tougher than we do because your division is pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Somebody hates us somewhere.
Hey,
somebody hates us. We did something wrong somewhere to where like the football gods are against us.
It's going to be tough, man. Like, I was listening and watching, and the Vikings are definitely the surprise team out of that division. I really thought that they would be at the cellar, and I thought for sure it would probably be the Lions and you guys battling it out. But
so how are you feeling about Jaden Daniels, man? I've watched a lot of the Washington games. Dude, he reminds me of Justin Fields so much, dude. I mean, are you guys kind of on the same page? I mean, he's a very out of the pocket, running, scrambling quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like he's a Justin Fields. I don't think Justin Fields has the arm that he has. I think his accuracy is pretty good. Yeah, he does run the ball a lot more than I would like. And I mean, I've got PTSD from RG3, so every time he does run the ball, I get nervous. I don't want him to take those unnecessary hits. And so far, he's done a pretty good job. I mean, this rib injury, it came off of that 50-yard run where he was tackled from behind. Looking at that, because seeing it live, like, I had to go back and rewatch it. I wish he would have taken the outside instead of running it inside, because he would have had the sideline to where he could have just easily dipped out of bounds if he felt somebody on his tail. But
you can't prepare for a blow from behind. That's for damn
no,
sure.
you definitely can't. You definitely can't. So
No, dude, him and Scary Terry have been hooking up mad this year, dude. Zach Ertz has been a lot more involved. Like old man Ertz is out there getting his career back on track. I think you guys have definitely surprised a lot of people out there, man. I mean, I didn't expect you guys to be that great when you came out this year. I mean, I didn't expect the Vikings to be 5-1. I mean, it's been a crazy year in the NFL, man. But you guys are extremely happy. I'm happy for you, man.
Yeah, no, it's been very surprising, because so far, I mean, I've been to every game so far this season, and walking out of that Tampa Bay game, I was like, it's gonna be a long season. I mean, the offense just wasn't clicking. And then the defense, I mean, let me tell you, Tampa Bay was extremely hot. So I felt it for their defense, because they were on the field a lot. And I mean, it was 108 degrees. It was bad. So,
well, I think Washington too smartly has kind of adapted a more, I don't want to say college offense to be demeaning, but like a more comfortable offense for Daniels thus far, at least when I watched it.
Yeah, I mean they're working with him. I mean, I think that's the biggest difference with Fields being on the Bears, where they're trying to make him something he wasn't, where they're actually game planning around Jaden Daniels. So,
and I agree. I think Daniels is a lot more polished than Fields ever was or will be. He's
evolved faster than Fields has in 4 years.
Well, hey, 55 games in college will do that for you.
Absolutely.
A lot of people go to college for 6 years. They're called doctors.
yeah, exactly, right?
All right, Maxwell, what says you about this game on Sunday?
I mean, it all really depends on if Jaden Daniels is playing.
Well, I would say he's playing. What do you think?
I still think the Bears get this. I mean, I have to say that, but I still think the Bears have the slighter upper hand all around. I would go 27-21 Bears. If Daniels is not playing, I'd say I'm guaranteeing a Bears win.
Daniels or Mariota playing, I mean, we definitely got to get a QB spy out there. Stevenson is coming back. Jalen Johnson, Scary Terry, our linebacking core on Ertz. I mean, we really just kind of got to worry about the run game with Robinson and keeping Daniels under wrap. I mean, Mariota plays a similar game to Daniels anyways.
He's not Daniels, but yeah.
Yeah, minus the arm, I mean, which is kind of a good thing. So,
when Daniels went out, Chris and I were sitting by each other, and we were up 10-0 at the time, and, Mariota comes in there, and the first couple throws were a little off. You can tell the first two series he was a little rusty. He had to knock the rust off. But man, watching him throw the ball, we're like, that's not Jaden Daniels. Like he's gonna throw a couple pick sixes, because that ball gets out there late and those corners are gonna jump it. So,
he's a professional backup quarterback. There's nothing wrong with him as a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of who starts, if the Bears offense continues to produce like it was the last couple weeks, Commanders 22nd ranked defense overall, so definitely some improvements that need to be made there. I think we can put up some good numbers, and I'm going to go 27-20 Bears. 27-20.
I think it'll be a close game, especially if Daniels plays. That's what we all want. We want to see that.
I think it's going to be definitely coming down to the last couple minutes of the fourth quarter. I mean, both two teams out there who are trying to win. So yeah, it's going to be a good game. I always want to see a good game.
Yeah. I don't want to. I still got that 1940 NFL championship, that 73-0 slacking that y'all did. Just kidding, I wasn't born
there. Let it go, man. It was 100 years ago.
Still mad about that. No, I definitely want a good game. I mean, the last two games that you guys came to our house, I mean, you guys beat us pretty good. So, and then the last time we were at y'all's house, we had that ugly Thursday night football game.
2 ugly Thursday night football games in a row the last couple of years, my friend.
Yeah. So.
Absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. But Parker, I appreciate you coming on the show, my guy. You do so much awesome stuff out there for your team, for your community, for fandom, man. Keep on doing what you're doing. Don't change a damn thing. Everyone loves it, man, and we appreciate you coming on the show tonight and spreading your love, spreading your knowledge about everything, and talking about your fandom, sir.
I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, man.
All right, my guy. Good luck on Sunday, bro.
How's it? Is it bear down like this?
It's A little palsy hand or something.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. Have a good night, bud.
You too,
Right
bro.
there. Thank you, sir. All right, Maxwell. Ready for Sunday's game, brother?
Yeah, I'm football ready.
Dude, yeah, it was a nice little break this weekend, though.
Mhm.
Went to the pumpkin patch with the family.
Got to.
Kind of took that in a little bit, so it was kind of nice. So after this week, we are going to be planning for the Cardinals game, another tough matchup coming up after this. So we'll have the Commanders breakdown next Tuesday, along with the matchup for the Cardinals. And we're going to have tailgate Troy Lundgren in the house, dude. Arizona fan of the year. So super nice guy. Another good guest to come on the show. Always a good time. Well, I appreciate everyone watching the show as always. You guys are the best. You guys make us come out every week and do this. So thank you guys for watching. And you guys know how we end the show at all the time. And that's bear down, baby.
Thank you, and go Bears!
Bear down!
From Harrison and Wabash we rise, tailgating with excitement under the skies. The Foz is leading the way with Billy from the van, rapping jazz, dancing to the Chicago plan. Surrender man goes to stealing the beat. Our baby bear and mama bear never defeat. Deaf, bear, and also roaring loud, and the stereo lurking among the crowd. The Hallis Tower, a symbol of might. Chicago handshake under the night. What is your profession? We ask. Legends of the game, a formidable task. Devin Hester, speed, behold. Mongo and Datum will never fold. Sweetness and Peter, heart of steel. Dick Buckers and Mike Dicker, the real deal. Super fans cheering with passion in the air. From Harrison and
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villian Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla Hour, Broseph Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and MManiacs. The nightly shows are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports, Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle Podcast, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast, Off the Rails, and Detroit Lions News. Hope you like all the shows. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment.